Actually, Jeff, if you want, I'll just take it over.
Yeah,
'cause
so
I'm-
equal access to technology transforms education. So take it away.
So I'm Chris Goodhart, and I have the honor of introducing two incredible individuals to you. So the CENIC is about connections, right? It's a human network, and it's a computer network, and the people who are stewards and connectors of those two things. And so the two individuals that are going to speak to us and end our day are really incredible stewards and incredible professionals who've dedicated their career basically to K-12 kids and helping them use technology within all aspects of their learning. We're going to hear from Antonio Romeyer, Chief Technology Officer, El Centro Elementary School District. And Antonio has such a long list of leadership roles and attributes that I'm not sure, Antonio, I can read it all to them.
That's fine.
But he is, I'm going to read a couple. I'm going to read a couple. He, for example, is the founder and chair of the Imperial Valley CETPA Regional Group. He's a board member for the Imperial Valley Computer Users Affiliate. And there's a list that follows, right? So he's clearly one of the people in that region who's enabling the work we all want to enable. And is he? I believe you.
I paid her a lot of
believe
money
you.
for that. Thank
well,
you.
you know, he was on the program committee, so we got to really know him.
Yeah.
And he's pretty incredible, really articulate. And he's joined by Justin Norcross, who's a certified Chief Technology Officer, Inyo County Office of Education. And he basically is the person who leads the technology team. So he's the identified person within within a group of 6 districts, actually. And so they're here to tell us how they undertake this work and move it forward. Is he?
Thank you.
Well, there you
Thank
go.
both are.
You got the
I
map.
appreciate it. Well, let's get started, folks. Thank you very much for being here. It's going to be a little different interaction. K-12, I want to move around. It's hard for me to stay right in front of this microphone. But there's a couple of things. If you follow the link that's showcased here, you can actually get a copy of our slides and you can follow along with us. And if you, from your mobile device, if you go to that link, you can actually post questions. And then at the end, since we're streaming too, oh, it happened. Thank you very much. Excellent. I appreciate it. You ask and you shall receive. So if you go to that top link, then you're going to be able to ask us questions. And that's especially also for the people here, but also for the people that are streaming. So hello to everybody, and let's get started. My name is Antonio Romayor. I have the privilege of being the CTO at El Centro Elementary School District. That's where we're at. I took this map from CENIC's website. I'm sorry if I plagiarized, so I should have credited it there, but that's us. We're right there. We're in a desert community. It's an amazing community. And I say it's amazing because we serve some of the most neediest kids, and at the same time, some of the most brilliant. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and how it's transformed our schools. That's kind of a makeup of our district. That's a picture of our administration. And the story behind that is that we celebrate our students' successes at every board meeting. We have their parents come in and we talk about what they're doing. It might be with the arts, it might be with technology, it might be with academics, but we celebrate what they do. What's TK? Transitional Kinder through 8th grade. Thank you very much. I feel like I'm in a comedy club now. I don't know. And I'm battling a cold, so I apologize. But about 5,000 kids and 12 schools, and the rest of the information that you see there. We started this about 3 years ago, and the economy was in a tough situation. And how were we going to figure out connectivity? We knew we needed thousands of devices, and we needed additional connectivity. El Centro has been at the hub, and we've been connected for a long time. We've actually had gig connectivity. We have a small CENIC. We call it IVTA, Imperial Valley Telecommunications Authority. Shout out to IVTA. And so a year and a half, our students were connected to 10 gig. And they've had that connectivity because of our partnership with CENIC and K-12 HSN. So my network is, for us network guys, it's a Cisco network, 6807, all the way through to 4500Xs, yeah, and then it goes down to 2960s in the closet. And that's been like that, and it took us 3 years to get there. We have an access point or additional access points in every classroom, and we have about now close to 5,000 devices. So although in mobile devices, we're 2 to 1, and that might not sound like a lot, but for an area like El Centro, it is a lot. and the teachers that we're serving and for the students that we're serving, it is quite a bit. Also, I wanted to highlight what our students are doing with that. I'm checking my time at the same time. What you're seeing here is teachers got together because we were able to provide this connectivity. They took the devices and they kind of had a fair. They had a tech fair. Some of these students, as you can tell, I wanted to showcase the fact that these were young ladies that were doing coding and that were showcasing their parents and other students. We rotated students of other grade levels and teaching them about the code and teaching them how they can go through the process. It was an amazing event. We want to make sure that every student in our district reaches exceptional academic achievement every day and in every aspect. And obviously now technology in this day and age in 2017, it's part of everything that we are doing. Another opportunity that we have is, I don't know if you've heard of Makerspaces. Anybody in the room? Show of hands. Makerspaces? Awesome. Wow, I'm with friends. What's up? We need to go. Those labs are amazing. Why? Because kids get to explore, right? They're learning. They're learning as they're trying, as they're exploring. Sometimes they fail at something, but then with iteration, they make something even better. And so it's an amazing experience. We're able, again, to take the technology to the student. You notice the student is not sitting down in some lab. We're able to take this anywhere, and that's because of our connected schools. Also, that translates into awards and recognitions and to achievement. Imperial County has Kennedy Middle School. Shout out to Kennedy Middle School since we're streaming. They were just recently redesignated as California Schools to Watch. And it's unique because in Imperial County and in all of California, we have two schools that have that designation. So that's a testament to the hard work of our teachers. It's a testament to their administration and how they've spent millions of dollars in transforming our school system, and technology is at the core of that. And that's my son's student award last year. Yeah, that's just, yeah. I asked him, can I put it up there? He says, who's going to see it, Dad? I said, a lot of people. He's like, well, okay, that's fine. Yeah. There we go. And beyond that, we make sure that we focus on all stakeholders. We have, this summer, we offered a lot of, about 8 different free ed tech sessions to teachers. Again, we were able to do that. They were able to bring in their own technology. We were able to provide that connectivity. We were able to bring people from the outside in and video conference with them, with experts in the field, and have them share their ideas and learn. We wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't the partnership that we have with CENIC and K-12HSN and the connectivity that we have. So I was just sharing a couple of other last features as I finish up, and we're going to show you a little video, a quick video in regards to the power of transformation when it comes to being connected at a school. But I'm very proud of the fact that all of our schools are being able to have technology right at their desk. More and more every month, our administration is supporting what we're trying to do. And our teachers are part of that culture. They're part of the culture of transforming education through technology. This I'm pretty proud of. Our students are so good at what they do, and we're so connected in Imperial County. We were at an annual technology conference. It's called Tech de Mayo that we have. Shout out to the Tech de Mayo folks. And they were showing teachers. They were showing teachers robotics and coding and different things, and they were showcasing that for teachers as they were walking by. And that's somebody from Calexico who was asking the student questions, and that's from those are 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students that were doing that. Again, we were able to do that because we were connected to the network and be able to take our technology there. So really proud about what we're doing. That's a quick summary, and we're going to show you that video next.
So I'm getting ready to go over to a classroom of middle schoolers at this campus, and previously they have Chromebooks in the classroom, but they wouldn't use them very often to do very much because they just couldn't. They didn't have the bandwidth to do it. So we're going to go over and have them do some YouTube this morning and really push the limits of what this connection can do.
So they didn't have this connectivity before, right? We've all been there, T1s.
Yeah, try to open one of the videos, see if it works. Is it a baby? That's creepy. It's a water droplet. Come on. It's weird. It's perfume paint. Scary.
It's terrifying. Literally, everyone could see
Okay,
it all.
due to actually now having this, you turn on your volume.
The water cycle. Dew?
Dew. Mm-hmm. That's the little moisture that you that's outside when you wake up in the morning sometimes. It's called dew.
Oceans, condensation, atmosphere, blah, blah, blah.
Dang.
You know that?
I can watch that all day.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's working like a magical wand.
It's working like lightning speed.
Like lightning speed, right? Folks, that experience would have been impossible without that. Some of those students might not have internet access at home. They might not have the means to have technology at home. So the fact that we can bring that, and we're finding ways even in Imperial County now to extend our fast fiber network directly to the home. And we're going to close that digital divide. Look out for it. Imperial County is an oasis of technology innovation, and our students and our families are benefiting from it. So I'd like now to introduce my co-presenter, Justin. He's going to talk about his district and his experience. Thank you.
Thanks, Antonio. Yes, this connectivity is changing our world faster than most of us can keep up with. And so I'd like to just share with you a little bit about the part of our world and what the connectivity has done. I'll give you a little bit of history. Inyo County Office of Education, we provide services to the 6 school districts within our county, 2,700 students. Inyo County is the second largest county in California. We have about 18,000 people, so we're rural, very remote in many places. To give you an idea for our international folks that may be here, we're down San Diego, down in that bottom left part of California. The red part's Inyo County. Puts us smack dab in the middle of the state, high desert type of space. Mount Whitney, the highest point in the lower 48 states. So if you want to get to a 14, if you're a 14er, if you're a peak bagger, come visit us in Inyo County. We also boast the lowest point in North America, in Badwater, Death Valley. That's 279 feet below sea level, about 85 meters. And I want to touch on a little bit. We don't want to dwell too much on the past, of where we've been, but in the early 2000s, and we heard this early on in the conference, the Digital California project brought CENIC to the K-12 arena for all 58 counties in California. And I was fortunate enough to be there in the early days working with one of the school districts. And fast forward to today, we've had an ERA stimulus funded project, very similar. We were hearing about those as well with other work that's going on. And that built a fiber optic network from Reno, Nevada, all the way through our valley, and it connected government, education, medical, service providers. So it brought a lot of bandwidth. They call it a 100-year build. We'll try and use all that in about 10 years. So the foundation that CENIC set in motion in the early 2000s, we were able to leverage that. We already had the network in place. We had the agreements. We had the districts working together. And I think that's a testament to the synergy that happens within this structure that we all have experienced here these last few days. So I'd like to highlight a little part of Inyo County, and that's Death Valley. And you may have heard of Death Valley. That's in Inyo County. And Death Valley has a school. And Death Valley Unified School District, they have about 30 students. They're on the east side. Their main school is just outside the national park on the east side and of the park there. And they had, a couple megabits. And just about 2 years ago, there was a project from the state. Some funding came available. They called the BIIG project to bring connectivity to underconnected schools. And that was successful at Death Valley. What's not showing on this picture is an antenna. It was a challenging environment. There was lots of obstacles to overcome. It was very, sorry, not that antenna, good point. It was a smaller one, more modern. It was working with partners, public and private. It was CENIC, it was our K-12 high-speed network folks out of Imperial County. It was the local superintendent who understands his community. It was the County Office of Education. All of these folks coming together, working to one end, and that is provide students our connectivity. So it's really important to understand the impact that that's having. So as we look at what our students are able to do now, each individual student's enabled to get online when other students are online. The conversation that occurred before was, oh, they need to do testing in the other room. Can you stop learning? Oh, that classroom's learning right now. You need to stop learning. Well, I can say today I've been out to Death Valley a number of times since that project has come to fruition, and they're not distracted by the technology. It's all about the learning challenges and what we're really there to do. We've also, we were able to implement a one-to-one program across the entire county. With our 2,700 students, I believe we're the first county in California to have a one-to-one device ratio, 2,700 students. So the connectivity, though, was a little different. And so we were able to provide that. And it's still a challenge. And we've been hearing that at this conference, that the challenge within the home front and in the outside of the school boundaries. And that's where, you know, we're wondering, how do we do that? How do we make sure that we don't have that, we don't prolong that gap further? You know, what these kids are doing, what they're taking ownership of, the connectivity, the information they have at their fingertips, it's just amazing. Now that they have it, they're not distracted by technology, by connectivity issues, and they can just move forward. So I'd like to show you a little video that was produced by a student in Death Valley, students in Death Valley schools on behalf of the National Park to highlight some of the things that park are doing.
Death Valley National Park is a land of extremes, a beautiful contrasting landscape with exciting places to visit and explore. The National Park Service is tasked with caring for this wonderful place. We are excited to be able to tell you about some of the many things that Death Valley National Park is doing to make Death Valley and our world better and more sustainable.
This was produced by students. And it goes on, and we'll probably have a link in the slide deck. You can see the whole video. And the key here is that students are producing. They're not just consuming. So often we think in our school spaces, consume video, consume what the internet is feeding us. They're producing. And if they have the resources at their fingertips, they will produce faster. So this really highlights what will be coming out of all over K-12, and I would even suggest that this is the future, is that the organizations, the institutions, all of you folks out there, it's coming. I know it's already happening, but just wait until these producers and these creators get into your space and see what they can do. And we've been hearing about that. We've been seeing that happen on this stage and other stages. So to borrow from what we heard earlier in the conference, what's the future? We didn't coin that term. We stole that fair and square. Borrowing, thank you. That's the correct. So the future for Inyo County is, I was really excited to pick up on the library conversation at this conference. And in Inyo County, we have a number of small rural library branches that are just down the street from some of our very well-connected schools. And when I say well-connected, for those, it's 1 gigabit. We have 1 gigabit to most of our school sites in Inyo County. So all of our students are not distracted by connectivity issues. Our libraries are just down the street. So hearing about the energy at this conference and how we can leverage that is where I'd like to take the next step. And the takeaway for me is this is our courthouse in Independence, the county seat, and in this building is one of our branch libraries. And so we'd like to see how can we leverage the connectivity, the synergy, the relationships that we have between CENIC, K-12 high-speed network, the folks out of Imperial County, our private partners, as well as the K-12 space. So that's a takeaway, and I hope to encourage you that as you're working in other spaces to look for those, leverage those partnerships. We have and we will continue to do that. So we thank you for all those that have made this possible.
Thank you, Justin. As we were talking, I remember what the VP from AT&T said this morning. He said, if you remember how much of the percentage of the bandwidth was video streaming on AT&T's network, does anybody remember? It was 60%, right? I tweeted it out, and I'm like, 60%. I'm big on video. I'm trying to make, I don't think YouTuber is a bad word. I think YouTuber is a way of students expressing that they want to create differently, right? And we're embracing that in El Centro. So just think about that, what that's going to do to our networks and what technology they're going to need. I think it was Larry who was mentioning earlier, how can we bring what was being described to our space? And so when we had the opportunity to talk to you fine folks, I told Justin, I want to go and ask and say, how can we bring these excellent things that you're doing? How can we connect students to you as professionals in your area, in your areas of expertise? Because those students, you'll have an impact on them if we can connect you. And eventually we'll be here at these type of conferences or at these schools innovating and making changes. So I want to challenge the folks here and listening to reach out to us, reach out to this space and how we can make that connection or improve on it. Because I know some districts are doing it already, but we'd like to see how we can do it and how we can build that out in the future. So thank you very much for your time. If you have questions, we can take some questions, and we'll also check if any questions came in online. There was a total of 0, so I think we're good. Any questions here? Yeah. Yes. Justin, if you can repeat her question for the stream.
Yeah, so the question is about Death Valley Schools in the BIIG grant. And there was multiple sites. So there are multiple sites, and there's some that are not connected yet. And so to add to that, so there were, within the Death Valley Unified School District, there were 3 sites. It's 3 school sites. There are 3 school sites. So that's a little more background on Death Valley Schools. One of their sites is in the national park proper. That is not yet connected.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to the difficulty in that particular part of the world to reach through, whether it's physical barriers, whether it's leveraging more partnerships, whether it's reaching out to folks and how to work with folks, because we're talking about national park. Yep. We're talking about other players that are in that space as well. And so yes, we're hoping, we're working towards that. And I'm hopeful, I'm encouraged that that's going to happen and that we'll reach all of the schools of Death Valley.
Thank you.
How do you sustain it both technically and financially?
That's a great question. And so
Repeat it, please.
the question is about sustainability, financially, specifically. And within the federal system, there's a program called E-rate. So some may be aware of E-rate that provides funding to schools and libraries. See my key takeaway here? So how do we leverage the same program that helps schools also help our libraries within our county? And there's also a state level funding, California Teleconnect Fund, that provides some of that funding. That absolutely is key. When I asked the superintendent what's some key takeaways about Death Valley's connection, particularly with the BIIG project, and it was, we could not sustain this without E-rate and without CTF, without the federal and the state funding. That's absolutely essential to have that, to have that access for those kids.
going to be participating in SF Jazz School Days?
Absolutely, and I want to see that big screen, the archaeological one we saw. I want to bring those into Inyo County. We have the bandwidth. Bring it. We have the bandwidth. Bring it to our K-12 space, because those kids will become your learners in the next generation. Absolutely.
Hold on, please.
What's your sense in terms of your teacher, both districts, your teachers, as far as how many are pioneering and using it, integrating it every day, the technology, and then the middle of the road where they're kind of, a little bit one foot on the old way and the new way, and then the non-adopters? What percentage do you think your district's at?
Wow, percentages. I don't want to put them on the
Ballpark.
spot. Ballpark, right? I'll answer it this way. I believe you create demand by building people. And it's not about the technology. So in our district, and my leadership style is about focusing on the people. We have in education, you have a core amount of folks in curriculum. It's different terms, but you have these professional learning communities, and they focus on providing instruction to everybody else. So our focus is to make sure that those folks have what they need technically, make sure they have the learning that they need and the support that they need. And they partner at different grade levels. So I would say that it's taken a while. A good quarter of our teachers are very early adopters. I think another quarter of those would probably be the ones that are close to retiring, and they're very good educators and have a very good system, and they're going to incorporate what they have to, right? And then we'll have the rest of them, right in the middle, that are trying one thing or another, and they're experiencing, the joy of having EdTech implementations in their classroom. So as the students' demand increases for that, and as funding continues to happen, and as our bandwidth continues to be there, I think that those numbers will change. But some of that might stay the same. It's just the nature of the beast. But we are seeing some amazing things that I didn't think we'd see 15 years ago. Yeah.
We do have a question on the back channel. Thank you. Are network utilization statistics publicly available? If so, what tools are used? So CENIC makes available a tremendous amount of network utilization data about all the connections, and including the K-12 space. So if you have a chance, go look at the CENIC website.
And in addition, K-12 HSN allows logging into an Orion product and being able to see the utilization for K-12 both by region and by node site. We don't go down to the district level. We've got visibility down to the aggregation points in each county.
And I don't know if the stream question was about our school districts, but particularly our school district does. We have a good team that uses different products to monitor that and to see where the utilization is. Obviously, we have to comply by a lot of different federal and state laws, so we have different systems in place to monitor that. But we're not having an issue with bandwidth and with 10 gig and 5,000 kids, so that is an issue, but we do monitor it. Yeah. Any other questions, curiosities? No. Going once, going twice. Well, we finished early, so I think that's good. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and questions.
Let us thank our speakers.